Welcome to Echoes Untold, where history whispers and we listen. In today's episode, we unravel the haunting tale of the Soviet nuclear submarine K-8, lost in the depths of the Atlantic during the Cold War. A story of bravery, secrecy, and tragedy, the sinking of K-8 remains one of the most chilling submarine disasters of its time. If you love discovering untold stories from the past, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. The Cold War, 1947-1991, was an era defined by geopolitical tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both superpowers competed on every front, militarily, politically, and technologically. One of the most secretive and dangerous aspects of this rivalry took place beneath the waves: the nuclear submarine arms race. The Soviet Union, determined to match American naval capabilities, rapidly developed its own fleet of nuclear-powered submarines. Among them was the Project 627A, November-class, attack submarine K-8. Commissioned in 1960, K-8 was designed as an advanced, fast, and heavily armed underwater vessel. However, as with many early Soviet nuclear submarines, its development was rushed, and safety standards were often overlooked in favor of rapid deployment. The K-8 had two pressurized water nuclear reactors, which gave it impressive speed and endurance compared to conventional diesel-electric submarines. However, these early nuclear submarines were prone to malfunctions and lacked many of the safety features found on their Western counterparts. In April 1970, the Soviet Navy launched one of its most ambitious military exercises, Okean 70. This massive naval operation involved hundreds of warships and submarines, designed to showcase Soviet naval strength and preparedness. The K-8 was among the submarines participating, patrolling the North Atlantic to simulate potential wartime scenarios. However, disaster struck on April 8, 1970. While deep beneath the surface in the Bay of Biscay, an electrical fire broke out in two separate compartments of the submarine. The fire spread rapidly, engulfing vital systems and filling sections of the submarine with toxic smoke. The crew scrambled to contain the fire. They fought bravely, but the situation deteriorated quickly. The fire disabled the submarine's nuclear reactors, forcing an emergency shutdown. With propulsion lost, K-8 was adrift in the ocean, helpless. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Captain Vsevolod Bessonov ordered an emergency surfacing. As the K-8 broke through the surface, distress signals were sent to Soviet Naval Command. But the crew's battle was far from over. Toxic fumes from the fire had already claimed the lives of several crew members. Those who survived had to endure freezing winds and rough seas as they awaited rescue. The Soviet Navy immediately dispatched rescue vessels, but harsh weather and logistical challenges made their approach difficult. For over 4 days, the K-8 remained stranded in the turbulent waters of the Atlantic. By April 11, rescue ships managed to evacuate most of the crew. However, 22 men, including Captain Bessonov, remained aboard in an attempt to save the submarine. Just when it seemed like the worst had passed, the situation took a final tragic turn. As the men worked tirelessly to restore stability, worsening weather conditions caused K-8 to take on water. The weakened vessel could not withstand the force of the waves. On April 12, 1970, K-8 made its final descent. The submarine sank to the depths of the Atlantic, taking with it the 22 crew members who had bravely fought to keep her afloat. The wreck now lies more than 4,500 meters, 15,000 feet, below the ocean's surface. The sinking of K-8 was a devastating loss for the Soviet Navy, not only in terms of human lives but also strategically. It marked the first ever loss of a Soviet nuclear-powered submarine in open waters. However, in classic Cold War fashion, the Soviet government kept the details of the disaster under tight secrecy. The world would not learn the full extent of the tragedy for many years. The possibility of nuclear contamination from the sunken reactors and warheads was a major concern, but Soviet officials downplayed the risks. To this day, the wreck of K-8 remains in the depths of the Atlantic, a silent reminder of the perils of the nuclear arms race. The story of K-8 is one of courage and sacrifice. The men who stayed behind did so knowing the risks, hoping against hope to save their vessel. Their sacrifice underscores the dangers faced by submariners, especially in an era when technological advancements often outpaced safety measures. The loss of K-8 also served as a wake-up call for the Soviet Navy. It highlighted the urgent need for improved fire suppression systems, better reactor safety protocols, and enhanced crew training. Subsequent Soviet and later Russian submarine designs incorporated lessons learned from tragedies like K-8 sinking. Despite these improvements, submarine accidents continued to plague both the Soviet and US navies throughout the Cold War, with other notable disasters including the USS Thresher, 1963, and the Kursk disaster, 2000. The sinking of K-8 remains a haunting chapter in Cold War history, a stark reminder of the dangers lurking beneath the surface of the world's oceans. The bravery of its crew, the secrecy surrounding its loss, and the lessons learned from its demise make it a story worth remembering. If you found this journey through history intriguing, please support Echoes Untold by liking this video, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing to our channel. Your engagement helps us uncover and share more forgotten stories from the past. Until next time, remember, Echoes Untold, where history whispers and we listen. Fact-check note: the events surrounding the sinking of K-8 have been verified using declassified Soviet naval records, historical research, and military analysis. Sources: Cold War submarines, the design and construction of US and Soviet submarines by Norman Polmar and K.J. Moore, Project 627A Submarine K-8 Loss Report, Soviet Naval Archives, Russian Naval Histories and Declassified Soviet Reports. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode of Echoes Untold.